Hello, Facebook family. Becky Brown here with a quick word of encouragement for you today. I'm loving this fall weather here in the region that I'm in. It is a cool 52 degrees and I love it. And with the seasons changing, there is a changing of the seasons in our spiritual lives as well. I'm here to ask you, how is your prayer life? What does your prayer language to God look like? Because if we look at Psalm 61, David had it so right. He started off his prayer being overwhelmed in his heart. He even said, "Hear my cry, O God." But by the end of that chapter, and it's just a few verses, by the end of that chapter, he encouraged himself in God and his tone changed. Many times we look for encouragement and direction from other people, and God's just saying, cry out to me. Tell me what you know about me. And in this chapter of Psalm 61, David goes back and rehearses his victories through God. He tells God what is a shelter, a refuge, a strong tower that he has been in his life. And he basically just says, all my heart's content, my hope and my desire is to dwell in your tabernacle, to dwell in your presence, because that's where David knew his strength came from. I encourage you today, when you pray and when you seek God, tell him what you want, because the Bible says, be not anxious, but through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, make your requests known to God. He wants to know your heart, because he does know your heart, but he wants to hear you. And not only that, he wants you to hear your words, because that's what David did. David heard his words, and the more he talked about God, the more he rehearsed his victories out loud, the more his faith increased in God. And I'm just challenging you today, when you speak to God, speak to him in honesty, because he already knows our hearts anyway. But think of everything that God has brought you through. And by the end of that prayer, when you're thankful and when you think back and look back over your life at everything that God has brought you through, that should increase your faith. It should elevate you to think, this thing I'm facing right now is nothing in the hands of God. He's brought me this far not to leave me. And I've got to trust him with everything, so that I know that he will bring me out. That's what we have to say. God, I know who you are. I know you're going to bring me out. This test is just a test. It's not permanent. It's not forever. But God, I've seen how you've walked with me. David even says that in Psalm 16 and 11, God, you've shown me the path of life. And we all know life is not always rosy. It's not always happy. But God walked with David just as he walks with us. And David said, you've shown me the path of life. In your presence is joy. And we need to remember that we're seeking after the wrong thing if we're not seeking after God to make us happy. It's his presence that makes us happy. It's in his presence that we find joy, even in the midst of the darkest battles, in the midst of the most raging storms. It's as long as we have his presence with us, we will find unspeakable joy. Remember that in your day. And also remember, this is the day that the Lord has made. So let us rejoice and be glad in it. God bless you.